Hello, everyone. Sorry I've been a little distant on my recording. I've been busy with school and trying to come up with different thoughts and ideas to discuss about. And one idea that I had been brainstorming about and really stuck out to me was the question of what is happiness? Now, to quote the great philosopher Aristotle, he believed that true happiness comes from living a life of virtue and striving towards one's highest potential rather than seeking short-term pleasures. Now, this outlines the idea of what is happiness. It's that constant strive towards the value you have within, not just the current state you're feeling, the current emotion you're feeling, but the person and the validation you respect from yourself. Now, to quote another great philosophist by the name of Alan Watts, he said that those who search for happiness do not find it, because they do not understand that the object of the search is the seeker. Now that stands out greatly here. Alan Watts believed that what he said, the object of the search is the seeker. And that's a concept that many of those in the population just don't understand. Now, the seeker is really looking for who they are as a person. And with that brings this idea of valid happiness. That is typically why this quest towards happiness is something that cannot be understood or found, because the seeker's trying to find something that they've already found. But they need to relinquish the idea that they're happy within themselves and that they're content with who they are and have that self-validation among themselves. Now, this is the true search of what they're looking for. The seeker. It takes a lot of reflecting and diving more into how you feel about your life to understand that happiness is already within you. If you see that happiness is within others, and that you think that they've lived lives of success and enjoyment and contentment, this may be the case. It may not also be the case, because they might not be in validation with themselves, which is exactly the quest in happiness. It doesn't also fully answer the question of what is happiness, but it plays a major part. Knowing what to look for and finding it after many years of failing to find it or thinking you found it. It's within us. It's within the person you're sitting next to right now, the person you woke up to this morning, the person that you are right now. Happiness is within us. Now, to talk more about another quote from the great Alan Watts, we look into this idea of, for while scientists and logicians dissect and analyze, the mystic looks for meaning in the whole. Now, to speak volumes, because the scientist and the logician are constantly breaking up those little parts of a whole, but the mystic is looking for the meaning in the whole. Like I said earlier, and to relate it back to the first quote I said, was that seeker is looking for that meaning in the whole, looking for the idea of happiness. Unlike the scientists and the logician, who are looking for things in life that are what they think make them happy. This could be job security, or getting a degree you work so hard for, or providing for a family, or making a lot of money. That is the idea of dissecting and analyzing those small parts of the whole. But being able to understand what that whole part is crucial to know what happiness is. And even though that mystic may never find the quote-unquote meaning in the whole, he knows what he's looking for. The mystic knows that happiness is not just the small parts. Happiness is the summation of it all. and the wrapping up of it all, and the contentness within yourself, the validity that comes within yourself, the respect you have for yourself, the love you have for yourself. That is what the mystic is looking for. He's looking for the whole part of happiness, not just the key components. Think of it like this. If you're trying to buy a house and the owner says the asking price is $130,000 and you only have $60,000 of it. Now you spend your whole, or maybe part of your life, trying to pay off that rest of the loan you took out to get that house. And that ties into this, because that could be part of what makes happiness. And it goes back to the idea of the scientist and the logician dissecting and analyzing parts of life. Instead of trying to make a quest for the whole, they begin with those small parts and try to understand them first before tackling the large-scale topic of happiness as a whole. Now, the next topic and quote I'm going to use here is also from Alan Watts. If you haven't sensed the trend on that yet, Alan Watts was a great philosopher with lots of great insight on various psychological views in life and self-worth. Now, he said much of the secret of life consists in knowing how to laugh and also how to breathe. Now, to split this quote up into two parts, we learn about the idea of knowing how to laugh. Knowing that it's okay to not be so serious all the time, and to let your emotions run through you, and be comical or silly or goofy. That is a key element of the secret of life. This quest towards happiness is knowing when to love yourself, knowing when to let go of serious emotions, knowing when it's okay to be free in the world. That's what knowing how to laugh means. It means that the environment you're in has allowed you to let go of the worries of your life, the stressors, the trauma, the pain that dwells you. It allows you to take away for a few moments and laugh and let your true emotions run through and allow you to be happy. Even if it's for that short moment. We typically associate laughter with joy or happiness. And that's a skill that not many know how to use. It's a key element of life. And knowing how to laugh is something you must learn in order to find this happiness in life. Now we also talk about how to breathe. And it's different from the necessary biological process of breathing. It is knowing how to relax. It's very similar to the idea of knowing how to laugh, but this one means knowing how to breathe. No matter the circumstances you're feeling or going through in life, it's the ability to lean on yourself, to inhale and exhale, knowing you're worth living and you're content with yourself. A bad circumstance doesn't define you. Neither does a good one. And having that be the ability to stay strong through that and inhale and exhale when you need to is important to getting through to your true personality and finding that quest of happiness. It's a very hard thing to do, too. Oftentimes, look at everything that's going wrong in life and just take a deep breath and understand that you're stronger than the circumstance you're going through. Or even when things are going very good in life, that also takes the same skill to sit back and breathe and know that this isn't forever. This quest for happiness I'm on is not ending here. It's just a small part in the whole, just like that mystic looks for. He doesn't dwell on the good or the bad that has happened in life, but he's looking for that whole. That whole is the idea of happiness. And it's hard because happiness can mean many different things across cultures and personal beliefs. But the idea of happiness should be that you're content with who you are, that you love yourself, that you feel proud of the achievements you've done, that you can give that love to others, that you can look in the mirror and say, I'm proud of myself. I'm happy with who I am, no matter what I've gone through. And that's the true meaning of happiness. Now, one thing I came up with when writing this was that one day, and it might not be now, I hope that it's not now. This is just a podcast I wrote when I was younger, but hopefully one day I can look back on it and examine if I really touched on those things. Now, something I wrote was that one day you'll realize that the happiness was never about the job you had, or the degree you worked for, or the relationship you were in. It was never about trying to fill the shoes of those who came before you. And it was never about being like someone else, or being like others who have quote-unquote succeeded in society. But one day you're going to see that happiness was about discovery. Finding something new about yourself, finding who you are, finding the love you have for yourself. And hope. The hope that one day you get to give that to someone else. And one day you get to have someone feel those same feelings of happiness that you do. It was listening to your heart and following wherever that led you to. Whether it be a tough decision, a move of locations, a career choice, a family choice. Listening to your heart is something you look back on and determine if it led to your happiness. And it was also the fact that happiness is being kinder to yourself. About, instead of trying to better the person you are, accepting who you are or who you're becoming. To keep heart. It's fine to accept who you are. And it's fine to accept that you may have imperfections or good things about you. But that doesn't mean you can't be happy with who you are. Embracing who you are is a major step in the quest towards happiness, which is why it's so hard for many to fully reach it. Another thing is understanding that happiness was also learning how to live with yourself. Knowing that those imperfections and flaws aren't the end-all be-all. Just because you lack knowledge in a certain topic doesn't mean that you're brash or arrogant or ignorant. It just means that you have things that you didn't get to know in life. That doesn't mean you can't be happy. Happiness is being accepting of the whole part. Every little small thing that makes up the whole. At the end of it at all, accepting what makes you you, accepting what's internal, loving yourself. Now that's living with others. Because once you're allowed to feel that connection within yourself, you're allowed to give it to others. And maybe in return, they'll feel the same and spread it along. And this idea of what is happiness is something that can be more easily answered as society progresses. Now, another part is that your happiness is not in the hands of others. Yeah, you might feel love from someone else, or you might feel that someone appreciates you for work you've done, but at the end of the day, if you can't go at home and take a seat and take a deep breath and know that your happiness is in your control, then you can't understand what is happiness. It's not what someone says to you, but it's how you feel about yourself and how you accept your internal validity and how you make that a priority in your life. True happiness comes from within, and no external factors can really define or change that. It's about you. As selfish as we often associate that statement with, it is about you. What is happiness is something that has to be answered by yourself. And it's not selfish, it's the nature of the question and the nature of happiness itself. I can't answer it for you, but I can answer it for myself. Just as your mother can't answer it for you, or your father. You must understand that true internal validity and love for yourself is the key and cornerstone to finding out the whole of what is happiness. And I hope you appreciated my insight on this question. I know it's a rather abstract topic and it might not have been answered, but try to discuss some ideals that I came up with, and I hope you can resonate with them, and I hope you also give me feedback as well if there was anything you disagreed on. I did like discussing this topic. I feel like it's a pretty deep and kind of untalked about topic we have in society, and it really is important to know all those small key components of knowing what goes into happiness. I hope that one day you do find the answer to that question, and I hope that one day I do find that question, the answer to that question as well. I know that it may take many years, but I have nothing but excitement in going towards that journey and fully answering the question. And I hope you have the same feelings. Thank you for tuning in. Try to be a little more consistent on videos. I know I've said that before, but just get a little busy with school and life in general, so I'll try to come up with some more topics, and hopefully you continue to watch my videos and give me insight on things or give me topic ideas as well. I would appreciate that very much. So I hope you have a great evening or day or morning or night, wherever you're at, and thank you for tuning in once again, and hopefully I'll be out with some more videos here in the next couple weeks.